We have some new income inequality numbers and facts for you. A new report from Oxfam found that the number of billionaires worldwide has doubled since the financial crisis. Stop and think about that. How could you have the number of billionaires double in a time of recession? I thought that the whole point of the recession was that we're all struggling. But we're not all struggling. It's just the overwhelming majority of people are struggling, and you have the richest of the richest doing extraordinarily well, and you have people who are multi-millionaires becoming billionaires. So in 2009, March of 2009, there were 793 billionaires, but as of March 2014, there are 1,645. Even more shocking, the world's richest 85 people saw their wealth jump $668 million a day collectively between 2013 and 2014. So as the rest of us are struggling, they're doing fantastically well. In fact, one could argue that all of that wealth creation we are doing, and they're the only ones that are actually receiving the benefits. And keep in mind, this is on top of the other Oxfam report that we brought up. I don't know how long ago it was now, maybe about a year ago, or maybe more like 6 months ago. But that report found that the richest 85 people in the world have more money than the bottom 3.5 billion people. So 85 people have more than half the world combined. Now, you guys know my position on economics and government in general. I'm in favor of a capitalist system for certain aspects of the economy. And I think, in a way, capitalism harnesses human nature. But you can't have a system, whether it's capitalist or something else, whatever it happens to be, a kleptocracy, you can't have a system that fosters this incredible disparity between rich and poor, where it's a joke. Like, if you were to show these numbers to aliens that came down and you try to explain it to them, they'd be like, oh, I get it, so you guys are stupid. So you guys don't understand this idea of being somewhat equitable, being somewhat fair. Now, we're not asking for hey, go to the people who don't work and don't want to work and give them a mansion and a Ferrari. That's not what we're arguing. But what we're arguing for is a wealth disparity and a wealth gap that is reasonable. Nobody's going to begrudge a CEO who works 80 hours a week for making more money than the janitor. But just the point is, how much more money? If we're talking about a situation where the richest 85 people in the world have more than half the world, that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, we went over the numbers as if it were a pizza party last time we did a story on income inequality, and I forget all the specifics of it, but basically, when you talk about the richest 10%, if you have a pizza party with 10 slices, the richest 10% take 9 of the 10 slices. Like, that's their share of the wealth. I forget the details, and I'm butchering the fuck out of the story. But if you have 10 people in a room for a pizza party and there's 10 slices in there, the first person takes 9 slices, and then everybody else has to fight over the last slice. 9 people, 1 slice for 9 people. That's essentially the situation that we're dealing with right now in the world when it comes to the wealth disparity and how we divvy it up. So what's the answer? I don't know what the perfect answer is. I don't think there's a perfect answer. I don't think pure Marxism works. I don't think you could divvy everything up perfectly equally. I think that's naive. I think that disregards aspects of human nature. I think that would seep initiative from people to work hard. But the best way I could think of to try to fight back against this is the common sense proposals, like, for example, things like healthcare should be free. It should be paid for by our tax dollars. Things like education should be free, should be paid for by our tax dollars. Daycare, same thing. Infrastructure spending should be a priority for all civilized governments. We should have progressive tax systems where you tax the rich significantly more when they make above a certain number. So everything somebody makes over $5 million a year or $10 million a year, you should tax that at like 70% for everything above that number. And the list goes on and on. There's 1,000,001 of these different proposals. But when you do stuff like that, and then you bring back unionization and you encourage unionization, and you make the working wage a living wage, the minimum wage a living wage, these are ways that you can tweak around the edges to try to make people's existence happier, better, more fulfilling. And it's not a pure communist/Marxist approach to the situation where we do this revolution where we all carry AK-47s and AR-15s into the street. No, this is the way to fix the problem from within the system, within the governments around the world. And also, I don't even need to get into it, but you guys know the reality about money in politics. In order to even go down this path, we would need to stop the corruption, not only in U.S. politics, but in politics all around the world, how we have the rich people buying the governments, and then the governments do the bidding of the rich people, which is why the policies make the rich richer and the poor poorer, even though we're working harder. That's another scary aspect of this. It's not like during this recession, people stopped working hard. No, we were working just as hard, if not harder, and the result is all of our wealth creation went to the rich because the game is rigged against us. And that's the point. We need to try to unrig the game as much as we can.